In the opening lines of this article, it reads, NIMAX is the latest major theatre operator to confirm it has begun the process of making a series of redundancies among its staff. The West End Theatre Company, which owns 6 venues including the Palace and the Apollo, is being forced to begin consultations on redundancies for a third of its total workforce as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, in the past, we have learned about different roles in the music industry, and I thought that we would take a look at a structure of a company like the NIMAX Theatre Company and see how their job roles are structured within theatre. So first of all, NIMAX is the large company that owns the theatres. This is the theatre operator. Underneath that, we have the theatres that NIMAX owns. So Apollo was mentioned, which is currently hosting the musical Everybody's Talking About Jamie, and the Palace Theatre, which is currently hosting Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. 6 of them in total. Now, in each theatre, you have a theatre manager, and the theatre management is in charge of all of the people that work in the theatre itself. This is divided into 2 types of staff. The permanent staff, they are contracted to be employed by the theatre permanently, and the temporary and freelance staff. This means that they are on a contract of a temporary time, for example, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, and by the end of that contract, it finishes. Or freelance, where the musician or the technician or whatever, they offer their services and they're hired in for a specific job. Permanent staff include someone like the stage manager. The stage manager will have a team underneath them. So for example, they will have the stage hands, or the people who help set up the stage, wiring, etc. They help people like the sound technicians and the lighting technicians. Other permanent staff are people who work in the box office. So for example, the customer service representatives. These will be the first port of contact for the general public to people who want to get in touch with the theatre. And then you have the ticket sellers, people in charge of the ticket sales for the specific musical or piece of theatre that is running at the time. Other permanent staff include the backstage manager, who also have a team. So they have like the stage door personnel, people who communicate with the artists and the thespians who are using the stage, as well as stage hands behind the scenes as well. A few examples of temporary and freelance staff then. Bar staff, who will be hired temporarily depending on what the show is. Other temporary staff include ushers, and these are the people who supervise performances and show you to your seat. The sort of people who are in charge of checking that nobody is talking or trying to secretly film whatever they're being shown. You have front of house staff as well, who are the greeters of the general public into the shows, and they work with the ushers to show you into the hall, as well as things like selling merchandise and selling programs. And then you have the temporary and freelance technicians and musicians. And these are people who are employed for specific shows. For example, you might have a very elaborate show like The Lion King that uses lots of props, so you need lots of freelance technicians to be able to help with that. Another show like West Side Story has generally a full orchestra playing in the pit. Now, the article itself reads that up to a third of its total workforce as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic will be made redundant. Carry on reading through the article to see which job roles might be at risk and why.